Hello and welcome to the Fishing Guide Podcast. Y'all know I love electronics, and today we got a special guest. We even got I know it's always good when you get new technology and you get someone who's an expert at it. So you don't have to listen to me talking about it. We can go over to David and have him talk about it. If you have any comments, they go over to Dave. But anyway, we have David Hahn with All Aboard Marine. And tell us, David, who you are and what All Aboard Marine's about.
Okay, well, of course, my name's David Hahn. I own All Aboard Marine. I've been a machinist my entire life. I grew up in my dad's machine shop, so I've always had kind of that technical mind. But I'm also an avid fisherman. I always, growing up, I spent a lot of time on pontoon boat, things along them lines, and got into bass clubs, things along them lines. And as the new technology was coming out, I spent one day on the water with forward-facing sonar, and I was like, there's got to be something better. There's got to be something, the trolling motor isn't the only way to do this.
Right.
So I went to the shop, I did a little bit of stuff, and I designed my first all-aboard transducer mount, and it just completely changed the way we used the live scope because of how much control we had over the system.
Right.
Because, with trolling motor, you got to be able to control your boat, but, you still have to be able to control your live scope. You're still looking at, looking for stuff to fish for.
Right.
And that's pretty much what I set out to do. And, as the technology has advanced, I've advanced with it, and I continue to grow my product line. And we now offer something at every level. We offer the manual system for, just the weekend angler, somebody that wants something simple, something strong, something sturdy that works, don't have to worry about anything.
Right. All
the way up to the guy that has to have all the bells and whistles and then some.
Right.
So that's kind of what we do. And
would that be Pete Pons? Can we just throw him under the bus?
We can throw him under a lot of things.
Let's throw Pete under the bus.
Yeah, he has definitely helped. He's definitely helped us. Grow the product as far as, you all have that friend that could tear up an anvil with a rubber hammer. Insert Pete here.
Insert Pete. I need to insert Pete. Like this, drop Pete in right here.
Right. But no, I mean, it has been fantastic working with Pete and other guys at that level, because they do get to spend so much time on the water.
Right.
Because everything I sell, I also produce myself. I own my own machine shop.
Right.
So that gives me to keep a real good thumb and maintain the quality that, is expected from All Aboard Marine.
Right.
And that's kind of it. I mean, we just continue to grow as technology comes out. We do our best to stay on top of it.
Well, let's start with the very basic. Let's start with the manual one, meaning that there's no electronic switches or anything on it. So start with that one and kind of explain what you got. What's kind of the price range for it, too?
Okay, so my manual system starts out about $429. And what it is, it's a mount. We predominantly go on the side of a trolling motor, mainly the Ultrex or the Garmin Force, all of the popular spot lock trolling motors.
Okay.
And what that does is it gives you a shaft so that you mount your transducer to the bottom of that shaft, and you got a twist handle. So you drop the twist handle on top of it.
Okay.
And it's just as simple as twisting it like you would driving a screw with a screwdriver.
Right.
And the reason we tend to manufacture all of our products under the trolling motor, it bolts to the trolling motor so that when you put your motor in the water, your electronics go in it with you. I mean, there's countless number of, other systems out there that bolt to the side of the deck. So you got to put your trolling motor in the water and then put a separate pole in the water or something.
So it all drops at one unit, kind of, in a sense.
Correct. This integrates, it maintains the one in and done type of situation. There's nothing else on your deck. It's all just one and done.
Right.
And that, that system includes, like I said, our twist handle that I designed. It's got a glow-in-the-dark indicator on the top of it for whenever it's kind of, dark and whatnot, so you can see what's going on. It also includes our own perspective mount on the bracket. So whenever when you purchase a product from All Aboard Marine, it's kind of a one and done type of situation. You get everything you need to efficiently use your forward-facing sonar.
Let's talk about the twisting handle, because that's different. most people think you have to take it and turn it like this, but that's not it, is it?
No, it's not. So I actually designed and it took a little bit of thinking, but I designed a knuckle and a drive unit that slips into the top of the shaft, and it's just simply a drive knuckle is all it is. And as you rotate it, it uses pins to rotate the knuckle. So it's super smooth. It's not like some of the universal joints and whatnot where they're kind of clunky and your arms move around and whatnot. This is a gearless pin drive knuckle design, and it really works very well. It works smooth.
How does that handle hold as you're driving down the lake?
So the handle actually just slips out of the top because our manual systems have the ability to set the tension on the shaft.
Right. So
if you don't want to use the handle, you can just lock the shaft in one place. Like if you're, say you're running rattle trap or jerkbait, something up a bank.
Right.
You can just set that transducer mount at like a 45-degree angle up the bank and just lock it in place, and then it just stays where you put it.
All right.
So you don't even have to have the handle in if you don't want to.
I gotcha.
And
good.
It's it's about a 3-foot long handle. It's made out of lightweight aluminum.
Right.
So it just slips out of the top, and then you can strap it down on your deck with your rods, and then it's done.
Huh. So what's the next step up? What if someone wants? Do you have a middle and then an upper one?
I do, actually.
Okay.
I have I have our all sync system.
Yeah.
And what that does is that takes that manual transducer mount and it gives a chain drive, a mechanical connection to the shaft of either your Ultrex or your Garmin.
Okay.
And where this is really key at is some days when you want to go out fishing, you just want to go out fishing. If you're searching a big pocket or something along them lines, you don't necessarily want to have to drop the handle in, work it back and forth, and constantly control your live scope and control your trolling motor. So what I did was I developed my all-sync system, and that is, again, a mechanical link between your shaft of your Ultrex and the shaft of the transducer mount. So it gives you the same control and the same feel as if you was using it on the shaft of your trolling motor.
I gotcha.
And there's no electronics. It's all, it basically just takes our manual system and adds an extra level to it. And that has really been, that really works out well for the guys that fish like Pete's level, the crappie anglers, things along them lines who they do a lot of searching. If a fish ain't biting, if they're in an area and the fish ain't biting, they're moving around. So they're searching. So that all-sync systems gives these anglers the opportunity to use it as if it was on their trolling motor shaft, but then not sacrifice their spot lock ability to where they can disconnect it, point it where they want to, spot lock, and then really focus on where you're wanting to get the fish.
All right.
And that's kind of our medium of the road. That comes in around the $600 price point. So it's not terrible, as far as what electronics cost, but I mean, it is, right in that middle range.
Okay. And then you have the deluxe. Right? I
do. We have our all
What's
scan.
What's it called?
It's called our all scan system.
Okay, all scan. Okay.
We offer it as an all scan, and then we offer it as an all scan hybrid. And the hybrid is available for the Ultrex and the Garmin. But what the all scan is, it's actually an electric motor drive that's very, very advanced. So it actually wires in on 24 or 36 volt alongside of your trolling motor batteries.
Okay.
So, with the day's electronics, the guys are running 3-4 graphs up front. You got, different things going on. This doesn't add anything to the drain of your battery. And since we go to the 24 volt side of the, the trolling motor side of the system, it allows us to cut our amperage down to almost nothing because it's so efficient. And everybody's trolling motors, trolling motor battery system is top notch. I mean, nobody runs out of trolling motor battery.
Right.
And that's one of the things that we really wanted to focus on. And going to that voltage, it also allowed me to kind of use more industrial grade, more higher quality, more, better components.
Right.
Because we're in a more industrial type of setting.
Right.
And it's got a lot of neat features to it. Like it'll do it's got positive stop, so as soon as you take your foot off the foot switch, it stops immediately where you are, so there's no target overrun, things along them lines.
Oh, really?
It's got a 2-degree tick option, so if you just tap one side of the slide switch, it'll move 2 degrees and stop.
Right.
And so that's really key whenever you're really trying to be precise and focusing in on where these fish are.
And what he's talking about is there's a switch that's on the base of it, and if you touch it with your toe, that's what can move it in those small increments.
That is correct.
Left and right.
That's correct. Yes, sir. And then, of course, if you hold that switch, it'll continue to jog, past the 2 point. And it does have our absolute speed control, so you can control how fast your transducer is moving left to right.
Right.
It also has our leading edge technology, which is called Target Scan Technology, TST. And that allows you to, when you're spot locked on a fish and your boat's drifting around a little bit, or you're trying to fish like a cove where you're kind of fan casting things along them lines.
Right.
It allows you to basically show the transducer where you're wanting to fish, to the right and to the left, and then it will automatically scan between those 2 points, just sweeping back and forth at any speed with our absolute speed control.
Right.
And that's a really neat feature because it really helps, because if you're power pulled down, like some of these pros, you power pull down and you're fan casting, what the TST allows you to do, it allows you to maintain that the bait fish are staying in the area, staying that your bait, that your targets are still there. You're not necessarily worried about tracking every cast and watching the fish eat the bait at that point.
Right.
But you're just maintaining the knowledge that your bait fish and your fish that you're fishing for is still in the area. And that really, that's really key, being able to set that. And that's settable, in any user parameter. So in a 2 degree increment, up to a 5 degree increment, up to, whatever, up to the full rotation of the unit.
Yeah. Do these, all three of them, they not all three of them work with every model though, right?
So that's the thing. We have our all scan system works with, it'll work with pretty well any trolling motor out there. Now, there are certain trolling motors, that it doesn't work with, like a Altera, the automatic ones, things along those lines. But any of your standard hinge style foot control trolling motors, whether it be like a Fortrex or a Minn-Kota Edge, the Motor Guide X5, something along them lines. And then, of course, the, so all of our all scan systems will bolt onto those trolling motors.
Okay.
And then we take that to the next level. Then we have that in a hybrid version that's available for the Garmin and the Garmin Force and the Minn-Kota Ultrex at this point. And that gives you that chain link back.
Right.
So that gives you that on-the-shaft control along with all the other features of the all-scan system. So you really have to sacrifice nothing at that point. With the hybrid, you do get a little bit of neater features with it, like as you're using it on the trolling motor, when you're in sync with your trolling motor, it actually produces power back into the battery bank, so it will actually replace some of the power that it's using to drive the unit.
Right.
That's something that you only get on the hybrid version. So that it's key in a lot of things because it's not taking away anything from the battery bank.
I gotcha.
Now, you remember the old shake-up flashlights where you'd shake it back and forth and the light would burn for a little while? That's kind of the generation power that this thing is, building. Right. So it's not like you're going to be able to use this thing to bring your battery bank back and, continue fixing. I mean, unless you want to stand up there and turn the knob back and forth, 4,000 times, then it would. But I don't see that being real productive. It's just more of a way to kind of minimizing the footprint on the system.
What do you think's the biggest challenge to adding one of those to your trolling motor on your boat? What's the most common, like someone orders them and say over the years now, a bunch of people have ordered these. What's the number one question they have when it comes to install?
I would think, honestly, the chain is probably the chain link, the all sync connection is probably the biggest question that I've had. Just getting the tension right, getting the sprockets aligned, things along them lines. I mean, it's really no more involved than like setting up your kid's bicycle, things along them lines with the bicycle chain. But it has a much more kind of scary appearance to it. And it's just, that's one of the biggest questions I get. I also get the question of where do I hook the power to?
Right.
Because it's very unusual. This is one of the only other systems on the market that uses trolling motor power compared to just hooking it up to the 12-volt battery that everything else is hooked up to.
Wow.
So those are probably...
So it hooks 12, 24, and 36?
Right. It's actually got a smart controller on the inside of it, so it knows. So if you run 24 volt, you hook it up 24. If you run 36, you hook it up 36. It knows the difference.
All right. That's easy enough.
It does. Your 24 volts is already right there, and you're not fishing wires all the way back to the battery, things along them lines. Everything's just right there and easy to get to.
So can we assume that your boat has like 15 graphs on, and you have all these poles all the way around your boat, so you can just you walk around, you can test everything? Or are you just a one unit person and you just test the newest one?
So I don't run 15 graphs, but I do have 2 graphs on the front of my boat.
Right.
I am running a dual live scope system right now.
Right.
I'm running the newest transducer from Garmin along with the original transducer. That's kind of a twofold thing. One, it kind of lets me test the new stuff.
Right.
And, we get asked questions a lot of, well, Garmin just came up with this transducer. This one is on sale for this much. Is the money gap, is it worth it? And, being able to sit side by side and seeing them, one screen on the top, one screen on the bottom in the direct same, I can really give people what I feel is as honest answer as you're going to get in my eyes, because everybody's eyes is a little bit different.
Yeah.
But, that gives me the opportunity whenever somebody asks me those questions, it helps me, I can answer that question and feel confident that I'm giving them an accurate answer.
Yeah, I just kind of envisioned your boat going down the lake, and it's like everyone knows, like they're just pointing at you. There he goes. Like, how many more can he put on his boat?
Yeah, well, I run a bright yellow bass cat, so I stick out anyway. So.
Yeah, you're the one with the yellow bass cat. There's always one on every lake that somewhere in there appears sold one to someone.
It definitely gets a lot of attention for sure.
Who buys more? Who buys more of those the transducer poles? What do you call that anyway? What do you call your system? Do you call it something special?
Not really. I just call it the all-aboard marine system.
Oh, all right.
The all-aboard marine transducer mount system is basically...
Transducer mount system.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah, no reason to spice it up. It is what it is.
Who buys more, crappie anglers or bass anglers?
Who buys
from you?
I would honestly believe that the crappie anglers have bought more of the manual poles over the years.
Yeah.
They seem to be more of the... we've got this new technology, let's learn how to use it type of stuff, but we don't want to put a whole bunch of stuff on the front of our boat because, some of them are running spider rigs.
Yeah, that's right. You can't get up there.
Right. So the crappie fishermen so far have really liked the manual system, and the all-sync system is really, of all of my systems, I would say my manual all-sync system has probably been so far my biggest seller, mainly because it's been on the market, tried and true, for over 2 years now.
Okay.
So we've got a bunch of units out there.
Gotcha.
And they just work. They work well. We have no problems with them. The all-scan system is something that I produced a year ago.
Right.
We tested a little bit. Pete's been helping me with the, with some of my product design and development and whatnot. And we really started full production on the all-scan system sometime around February of this year.
Right.
And we've just been, we've been keeping them going out the door as fast as we can.
Right.
But it's really kind of been, since we released it, we overshot our projection for the year by a substantial amount. So it really got a lot of positive attention. And depending on where this takes us, there may be or may not be something new coming out in the line.
See, I was just going to ask you if you could tease us just a little bit, something going to happen in the future, maybe. Give us an inkling.
So there's definitely something on the horizon.
All right. You guys always have new stuff on the horizon. The electronic guys, nobody can keep up.
No, it's definitely one of them things that as the big boys, of course they Garmin released 2 new transducers this year.
Yep.
Lawrence is talking at ICAST about, something coming out in the next couple of months. Nobody knows what it is, so we can only guess it's some type of a transducer to go along with their forward-facing sonar.
Right.
That's really, and if you're going to be the leader in the industry of mounting these systems, you gotta stay with the technology. So
that's right.
There's definitely something on the horizon that's going to. I think it's really going to get a lot of good attention.
Good stuff there. It's time for tackle time. Tackle time, we don't have anything that's electronic. All our stuff is just hard baits, soft baits, everything you could use to catch all game fish that swim, everything from bass to crappie to walleye, you name it, we got it. And so you can check them out at PICOLures.com. If they wanted to find out more, David, about you guys and where your products are, where would people go? Where would they look?
Well, they can go to our website, allaboardmarine.com. We also have a Facebook page, All Aboard Marine.
Okay.
We're on Instagram, All Aboard Marine 1.
Okay.
As well as a YouTube channel on All Aboard Marine. And the YouTube channel is where we really utilize a lot of our new stuff and kind of updates our products, because I get so overwhelmed with phone calls and emails and stuff along them lines. It's hard to update everybody on a one-on-one basis.
That's right.
So I really do my best to get on the boat with people like Jeremy Mattingly, who's the host of our TV show. And, get on the water with him maybe once a month to post a YouTube video, something along them lines, of this new feature and that new feature. And they may not even be new features. It's just, without going into sensor overload, the system is so capable of doing so much.
Right.
We try and, a little bit of information at a time. So go check us out on YouTube, All Aboard Marine. Hit us a like and subscribe on Facebook, and we'd be happy to talk to you guys on Instagram at All Aboard Marine 1.
There you go. There you have it. Like I always like to end the show, make sure you keep your hook sharp and your lures in the water.